What about you, Modupe? Legally speaking, how safe are Nigerians come 2015?
Legally speaking, that's interesting.
As in, can we go to court over abuse? Will the case be in court forever?
No.
The fundamental right of the government is to protect its people, but with things like this, people are very worried as to the role of the police in the elections.
Yeah, of course. You know, social contract theory. If once I surrender my rights, you know, to a particular government, just like Nigerians have done, so you know, the Federation of Nigeria, I expect to be protected. We know that there's a breakdown of security, you know, looking at the North generally. And I was just going to build up on something he said previously, and I would just relate security to voter apathy. Voter apathy in Nigeria right now is huge. I've talked to a lot of young people that have told me, a lot of my friends are like, they probably didn't register, like, you know, I'm not going out to vote. If I go out to vote and they kill me, what am I going to say? You know, so so security, just like you raised, is actually a very big issue. And yes, it's actually the function of the police, you know, to protect us. But at this point in time, you know, I don't know if I can actually go to court and sue and say, oh yes, I don't feel secure in Nigeria, and then I want to sue the federal government, you know. So basically, just like he said, basically the focus of the government right now is to ensure that the people feel secure enough to come out and say, you know what, we want to actually participate in this electoral process. So right now, the government has a huge responsibility in convincing all the people I know that don't want to leave their houses on election day because they are scared, you know, that, you know what, we have your security on that.
Let me take this to Kazim quickly, so we'll round up on that aspect. On the issue of sending out multitudes of policemen, military, as in the case with Ekiti and some other elections, do you think it would be an overkill for INEC to take that same step in 2015 to really flood the streets with security operatives, all in the name of making sure that citizens are kept safe?
Okay, yeah, first of all, you should interest you that about 31,000 personnel that we have in our security apparatus, let's say nearly 100,000 of them are quote unquote guards in our politicians' residences. That's the fact. It might sound funny to view as a home, but that is the fact, and it's very pathetic. So the fact is the Nigerian police does not have that number like they did have when during the Ekiti elections and the Osun State elections, because
this is the whole nation.
Yeah, this is the whole nation. So, but truth be told, there's a need for the federal government to build up that trust, to build up that confidence in the voters. Nonetheless, it can be very funny, but a lot of voters, people you see going through the process of having to queue up, do the INEC reg card, even very, very funny. Most of these people does not have it in mind to even queue under the scorching sun to cast their vote. A lot of them, in one way or the other, after the kickbacks of, okay, if I have a voter's card, I mean one politician in somewhere that can actually get it sold to, maybe for kickbacks, but I think there's a lot that federal government has to do concerning the elections, because nowadays politicians are the deadest people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the truth.
You can say that again.
That's the truth.
I wanted to take a different angle, being that it's about the youth. We cannot rule out the role of social media. For example, APCA have inaugurated a social media platform, and a number of parties are doing the same. What role or how do you think social media will determine the outcome of the elections, or do you just believe that, well, no matter what happens on the social media space, the fate of Nigeria has been predetermined before 2015?
Yeah, that's the truth. There's a lot that social media has to do, but it's just funny that when you go on Facebook, you see a lot of people quote and unquote ranting about the present state of the country. When you go on Twitter, it's a lot of people complaining, saying a lot of things about the incumbent administration. When you go on other social networks, people are ranting, people are complaining. Some genuinely, some because the kickbacks are not getting their wallet, but apparently, the social media, the revolution should not start and end on the social media. It's important for people who believe that let's write articles on Facebook, let's send tweets to condemn the present administration. So I also believe that it's also important for them to go out on the day of election equally cast the votes.
But would you agree with me, Modupe, that a lot of our generation are very vocal on social media, but when it comes to the actual action, we tend to take a back seat? Would you agree or disagree?
Oh, I would agree to an extent, because in as much as I know a lot of people come on social media to rant about issues and just complain all the time, I also know a lot of youths that have actually taken up their responsibility and say, you know what, I'm actually going to do something, towards 2015. So there's actually a balance. But sometimes it's easier to complain and then just stay. Yes, exactly. I'm just behind my phone and I'm just tweeting and that's it. But for me, it's actually a big deal, because when I speak to people about this, I say at least we're talking. When we're talking, it means that issues are being raised, and then it may not be. It's a revolution that is going to take time. It's we have to learn to crawl before we walk, and then before we run.
Some might argue that it's been too long. No,
but basically the issue, what social media has done is it has brought awareness. I know a lot of people that, aside social media, they do not read newspapers. Everything they know about the Nigerian political scene is what they see on Twitter or Facebook, which is fantastic. So people are aware, and I feel that if people are aware, once you arm people with knowledge, that's the first step. So yes, but then again, I would still urge that as young people, we still have to take an extra step. Just like I said, voter apathy is huge. Even people that complain on social media, they are not doing anything in terms of even as little as registering to vote. It's just me complaining. But when you ask and say, have you registered? Are you going to vote? It's like, no, I'm not. So I think that it's right now, it's time for us to actually make that shift. So you know what? We're ready to actually take control.
And talking about social media, don't forget to follow the conversation. That's at Rubbing Minds. Let us have your views, your comments on some of the topics we're raising this afternoon. On a lighter note, celebrating our Falcons, who really did well. I don't know. I was just talking to a couple of friends the other day. I said, why is it that the ladies always bring back the cup, and the guys always struggle? Keshi's being recalled back. Yeah. There's just a lot of mess with football generally. But in the midst of this mess, these girls seem to shine.
Bringing hope.
You want to say something?
No, I was just going to say that, yes, girls always bring hope and sunshine, just like I've brought
girls
sunshine.
Bring hope and sunshine.
Yes, I mean.
Okay, Kazim, I guess we're the darling ones today. What's your take on this?
Actually, it's not about ladies being able to make the country proud. There are a couple of competitions that news has really gone out to make the country really proud. But I think when it comes to Keshi and Super Eagles, both their present achievements and their present flaws, it all revolves around the politics. I mean, it's just pathetic that in Nigeria everything is politics. We have politicized virtually everything. So in one way or the other, the people who really have the love of this country at heart, they really love this country, and they want to do everything possible to contribute their quota towards a better country. But when you look at it from different angles, you get to believe that a lot of politics actually undermines the progress of football in the country. And that's my submission as touching that.
Okay.
You won't congratulate the girls?
Well, I think they've gotten a lot of congratulations.
Thank you.
A friend of mine developed a theory that the reason they're so good at what they do is that most girls who grow up don't actually grow up wanting to be footballers, or it's not really embraced. So the only people they can play with are the guys.
Exactly.
So they end up being toughened up. So by the time they now enter their league, it's like, they're more or less playing with guys. But that's just a theory. I'm not saying it's foolproof. But anyway, we're very proud of them. Congratulations to them. Hopefully this mess with Keshi and being recalled back, and of course the president wading into the issue, shows how important football is to the nation. And of course it's an evolving story. But a lot of people not particularly, there are two sides about Keshi coming back and not coming back. Some are saying he's arrogant, some say he doesn't listen, some are saying it's a better thing that he was away. What's your take on him coming back?
Well, like I heard someone saying, for the fact that Keshi has been another chance, he also needs to give some players he has laid off, so to say, a second chance.
I was trying to avoid that.
Yeah, so it's good, but just that Keshi's coming back to Super Eagles is not a bad idea. He just needs to understand the politics more. You know, you will understand that the way politics keep recurring in my submissions. You need to understand the politics more. You know, there's different between someone that I really love the country. I really want to do a lot for a country.
But he's achieved so much. We can't
achieved a lot, and that's not arguable. He has really achieved so much. But I think it's important for everybody who really loves the country and wants to do something to make the country proud to get the necessary support, technicality, and otherwise.
Okay, on a final note, sorry to cut you, still on football. Yebo plays around politics as he's named PDP's ward-to-ward ambassador. I'm not sure what that is, but I just said let me throw that in. Okay. Have you heard about that before?
Yes.
To be very candid,
just quickly before we go on the break.
It's worrisome. It's worrisome. It's worrisome because I'm not comfortable with the government bringing politics into football. Apparently, it's going to swallow his financial wallet. But in one way or the other, it would further, it might tantamount to politicizing of football further, which would definitely generate the progress of the sport. It's not something welcoming to me.
All right, Kazim. Thank you very much, Kazim Modupe. Thank you very much for joining us on Rubbing Minds. After the break, I will have a guest in the studio. He's not going back on his governorship ambition. He might be a funny man, but he's taking this very seriously. Find out who after the break on Rubbing Minds. Stick around.